Hi, I'm going to tell you a story about the first time I got fired. And the first time I got fired was at a job here at Rutgers University at the Student Center on College Ave. I was working there for about a semester and a half, and I decided to make one of the dumbest decisions of my life. Well, before the day I got fired, I had been studying for this exam that I had coming up the next day. I was studying all night. Then I had to wake up at 6 to be at work at 7. So I woke up, went to work. I was so tired. I should have just called out, but that wasn't in my thinking at the time. So I get to work. I'm making my rounds. What my job description was, I had to walk around the building, make sure everything was where it needed to be, make sure no one was in no rooms that they weren't supposed to be in. So after I did that, I went downstairs to the lounge, and it was closed off. It had a lot, like curtains and couches all the way in the back area at the Red Lions Cafe in the basement. So behind the curtains were the couches. Me, being me, decided to lay down on the couch. And before I know it, I was sleeping. But before I fell asleep, stupidly, I decided to put my do-rag on first. Now, I wear a do-rag before I go to sleep, period, because I don't want to mess up my waves, and so my hair is laying down when I wake up and not sticking up and fuzzy and messed up because you're moving all along the bed or whatever. But yeah, I decided to put that on first before I fell asleep. So my manager, I guess she was calling me on the walkie-talkie. I was out. So next thing I know, I'm hearing movements around me, and before you know it, it was my manager coming right in through the curtains. And I heard it. I only had a couple seconds grace period to like fix myself, but it wasn't enough time. She seen me. I jumped up, took the do-rag off, but it was no use. She seen me sleeping. So she tells me to clock out, and the way she said it was, I'm going to demonstrate. Clock out. That's it. Those two words. I knew I messed up. So I go and clock out. Now at this point, I'm just internally I'm just mad, just like why did I do that? Why? Like why? What is wrong with me? This was a nice job, and I was working my way up to possibly getting promoted to management. So after I clock out, I go home. I get a phone call the next day. She tells me to come in 2 days. She set up a meeting. So when I get to the meeting, she asks me what happened. I tell her, well, the night before, I was studying all day and night. Woke up early to get to work, and I was just completely exhausted. And I tried to, I mean, I know I made the wrong choice, but I tried to plead my case as much as possible, but her her point of view was she felt like there was other ways I could have gone about it. She felt as though like I should have told her what I was going through, what I was dealing with. Maybe I could have. I mean, the day was going slow. It wasn't that much that needed to be done during my shift. I could have. One option was to tell her that I'm exhausted. I was studying all day and night, and I could have possibly worked a couple hours less than I usually would have, and she would have let me go home to get some rest. That's one alternative. Another alternative was I could have called in and explained to them if someone else can cover my shift. I could have done that. There was a good number of other alternatives that was possible for me to still have my job. But one of the what was the deciding factor in me getting fired or terminated, or whatever the term they want to use, is the fact that I put my do-rag on before I went to sleep. She understands, she knows what the purpose of putting a do-rag on before you go to sleep is. She knows that once you put it on and lay down, your intentions are going to sleep because you don't want to mess your hair up. She understood that completely, and she let me know that she understood that completely. And I went back to her maybe a couple weeks later, tried to plead my case again, tell her that I changed my ways. I know how stupid I was. That was a dumb mistake that I'll never make again. I really cherished this job, but she wasn't having it. Like, and then I went a couple months later, trying to do the same thing. She still wasn't having it. But one thing I learned from this experience is that if you have something good going on, don't do anything to damage it, because at the end of the day, you're hurting yourself, and you never know when you're going to have another opportunity to do the things you want to do. I know if I hadn't done that, I'd probably still be working to this day, and I probably would have been promoted by now, maybe even promoted twice. Who knows? But now I'll never know, thanks to a dumb decision that I made. But I've learned from it, and now I'm just moving on. And I found another job on campus, actually two. I work at Henry's Diner now, and I'm also a community assistant here at Rutgers. So, moral to the story, don't sleep on the job. And if you do sleep on the job, please don't put a do-rag on first. Thank you.